you, guys. Thank you. I'm Tina Trevino. I am from Galveston, Texas. Does anybody know where that is? Where? No. It's at the beach, so it's not by Dallas. And he's right, it's Houston. It's on the coast. Houston. It was a big city. You were almost there. Okay. I asked you to do 3 things. Tell them I want you to think, and if you didn't fill it out, I want you to fill it out sometime today. Because it's very, very important. Has anybody, you guys, do you guys do target practice or something, right?
That's for shooting team.
Oh, that's for shooting team. But does the shooting team, are you in the shooting team? But does the shooting team need a target?
Yes.
And why do they need a target? Exactly. This is your target. This is your target. You're writing down your target. Where are you going to be in 2 years, sir? It's okay. What's your classification right now? You're 9th grade. Okay. So when you're in the 11th grade, where are you going to be, kiddo? School. That's a good place. And anything else that you have in your mind, what you want to do? You want to be a basketball player? You want to be on the varsity? You want to be an honor society? You want to be second in your class? Who wants to be second in their class? I think that's a good idea. Who said that? I want to be first. All right. I like that. Good one. Good luck. I'm sure you will. Okay. You've got to set a goal, right? Where are you going to be in 3 years? Just a minute. Hang on. Huh? You're going to be a senior, and what are you going to do? What are you going to do if you're a senior? There you go. Say it very, very loud. Apply for college. How many of you kiddos want to go to college? How many are not interested in going into college? And that's okay, because college isn't for everybody, and I totally get it. These people don't raise hands. What do you want to do in 3 years, sir? What grade are you in now? You're a freshman. Okay, let's go for the 4th year. Where are you going to be in as a senior? Okay. All right, that's good. He's going to apply for college. All of you are going to be looking ahead. Now, this is the big step. Where are you going to be in 7 years? 7 years. Working where? What kind of job? Where's your interest? Do you know? Okay, let me go backwards. Which of you, how many of you are, raise your hand if you're in 9th grade. Raise your hand if you're in 10th grade. Okay, and 11th grade. There aren't any. So I have 9 and 10s. 12s, do I have any seniors? No. So we're talking 9 and 10. Okay, good. Where we're looking for, right now as a 9th and a 10th grader, you really kind of don't know where you're going to be in 7 years, do you?
Yes.
Where? Who said yes? And where are you going to be, sir? Say it loudly. A soccer pro player. Hey, at least you got a goal, and that's a good thing. Put that one down. What I want you to do on your little blue card is I want you to write during the day, maybe in a week. You carry that card with you, and I want you to fill out those requests. I want you to fill out those goals because they're going to be your target. Now, those targets can change, right? You pull one off, you put in a new target. But you're going to have a target. You're going to have a goal. You're going to want to go somewhere. You don't get in a car and go, okay, now what? I have to have a goal. I have to go somewhere. I have to have a mission. And that's what your life is about. I'm going to tell you a story. Now y'all can just put your little papers underneath, and now we're just going to think and listen and discuss. I'm going to tell you a story. And the story is about perseverance. Does anybody know what the word perseverance means? Perseverance. Very good. I like that definition. Yes. Perseverance means sticking to it. Tenacity. Does anybody know what tenacity is? Tenacity is just sticking to it. By George, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up. This is what I want. What's on that blue paper? I want to be a teacher. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a carpenter. I want to be. And nothing's going to stop me to get to that place because I know it's the best thing for me. That's called tenacity. And as obstacles come in front of your goal, you persevere to get there. So you were right. It's getting through and getting to. So today I'm going to tell you a story about a woman and a man. And this woman was a young little girl. At the age of 10, she lost her mom. She had a brother and a sister younger than her. And all of a sudden, she had to become the mom. Her dad was a house painter and an alcoholic. So she became the mother. And she started taking care of these children the best way she could. But the best way, can you imagine? Do you have a 10-year-old brother or sister? Can you imagine that person taking care of, let's pretend you're 4 or 6. Can you imagine him taking care of you? Barely himself. But that's what she did. So she decides she's going to do this, and she's going to help her family stick together. And they lived in the valley. They lived in South Texas. So she proceeds and she works, and she stays with her family. She goes to school. She gets them dressed. She sends them off. And in her mind, this was the important thing. This is what she had to do. She had no example of a parent, of a mom, because that mom wasn't there. So she did the best she could. Then as time evolved, they moved from the valley to the island of Galveston, near Houston. There, again, she went and she lived with her tias she would go, the whole family, the 3 kids would go from one tia to another tia, sometimes living in a car because they didn't have money, they didn't have anything. And there she was, still getting her brother and her sister to school. Always, always, always doing that. And this continued and continued on and on and on. And finally, she was about 15. She said, I've had it. Her dad was somewhat abusive. She was exhausted. She was trying her best at school, but she was getting tired. She couldn't wake up and iron and wash and do everything moms do and still be a kid. So at the age of 14, 15, I think it was 15, she left home. How many of you are 15? Okay. Now this is where you pick up and you put it in your heart and you start thinking about yourself doing this. She left home. She told her dad, it's over. And he said, fine, you walk out, don't come back. And she went and she found a guy. And the guy tells her, you know, hey, come with me and I will take care of you. And she believed him. So she ends up getting pregnant and she has a child. And 9 months later, she has a second child. And when that second child was born, he hauled buns. Okay, now think about this. This little person was a little person at 10, at 9. At 10, this little person became a mom-ish kind of person, taking care of her siblings. At 15, she decided she was going to be a woman on her own, but became a mother. At 16, she became a mother of 2 kids and single. She had no skills. She was a smart person, but she had no skills. So what on earth could she have done to help her now 2 children? What do you think? If you were in, which one were you, 15? I saw you over here. Ha. What would you have done? If you, let's say that you were there, you were that person as a man, as a young boy, and all of a sudden you were responsible for 2 children and the girl hauled it. What would you do to help them? And you can't go home. What could you do? How? How? And in those days, there wasn't Medicaid and there wasn't daycare, Head Start, none of that stuff. It was you. Well, what she did is the only thing she could do. She took in wash and ironing. And she would get paid to wash and iron and wash and iron and wash and iron. And she lived in a house that was made of plywood. You know what plywood is, right? It's that real thin, kind of cardboard-ish, almost wood. And the floors were dirty, but she kept her house very, very clean for her kiddos. And there she would be washing and ironing. Very much what you see sometimes in South Laredo, in real deep South Laredo, or sometimes even in Mexico. And she took care of these babies. And the best she could. She got them food, and she got them clothes from neighbors and people who she would be ironing for, and they'd feel bad for her, and they'd give her some clothing for her kiddos, right? And then there was a gentleman. And gentlemen, this is where you're going to embrace this story, because this is what a man is, a true man of character. And that is what I would hope each of you would want to be, a man of character. A young man down the street came to her and said, and saw her situation, said, let me help you. Let me take care of you. He was a carpenter. Let me marry you and I will help you take care of your children. And she was reluctant, but of course, there was a guy who just finished telling her that a couple of years ago and left town. So, am I going to believe him? Well, this guy just helped her from afar, and he would come over and he'd bring her food, and he was focusing on the kids. He wasn't really focusing on her. He was focusing on helping her with her children, because that's what he cared about. Now, this young man of character, let me tell you about him. He did not. But you would have thought so, right? He lost his mom when he was about 14. And he had there were 6 siblings, all boys. And he was the guy that used to cook for the whole group. But what was interesting is in the neighborhood, he would also cook for the whole neighborhood kids. And everybody would, and they didn't have much money, but boy, he could make stuff, he would bless it and it would multiply, right? He could do that. And so that was his gift that he could give to these children that he saw needed help. So they proceeded. And slowly but surely, he asked her again, will you marry me? Let me take care of you. Will you marry me? And so she said yes. So he took her out of that house of dirt floors and cardboard and wood walls and brought her to a real house, which was probably the size of this area. But it was a house. It was warm. And there was a kitchen and things there that she had not had previously. There was a floor. All of that. So there she is. She started off as a 9-year-old child, a 10-year-old mom of 3 for her siblings, a 15-year-old mother, a 16-year-old single mother of 2, and now she's a mom and a wife. So she's progressing. And as she continues to progress through her life and with the support of her husband, the carpenter, he built them a house, a real house. They bought land and he built him a real house. And this house had a kitchen, a bathroom, and 1 bedroom. And everybody lived in this, and it was wonderful, and it was a huge piece of land. And they started their lives together. And then she had his children, and she had 2 more boys. But, let me backflash. Remember that second child that lady had? Not at 15, but at 16? Well, he had a crib death. So she lost a child at 16. How heartbreaking would that be? Just incredibly heartbreaking. And to be so young and to deal with that would be very, very difficult. So now there's some fighting for custody of the little girl that was born originally, the first one. And finally they got that all settled, and the kid kept going back and forth, and finally the mom and the stepfather took possession and custody of that child, and from then went on. So life was good. Life was good. But she had a goal. She had a goal. She wanted to finish school. What you take for granted, coming to school and having your pan dulce in the morning, or your taco, or your yogurt, or whatever you're having for breakfast. What'd you have for breakfast? Pancakes. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. What'd you have for breakfast? You too? Did y'all drive through McDonald's or what? Mom did it, right? That's a good one. Well, she had this goal, and she met a lady. Now, this is a woman that has an education of maybe 9th grade, 10th grade. And she's a woman. She's an adult. She has 3 children. And she met a lady who was a professional lady. She was a teacher, and her husband was a pharmacist. And that lady said, you know what? You're smart. You're smart, and you can do something with yourself. You can take yourself out of this and do it for yourself. You need to go get your GED. So she did, and she passed it. And then she decided, she talked with the guy, and she said, I want to go to college. Well, remember that island of Galveston? In order to get off of it, you have to go over a bridge that's called the Causeway. You have to go over the bridge to get to the mainland of Texas. She didn't know how to drive. So she had to learn how to drive. Perseverance. I'm not going to let anything get in my way of my goal. So then she proceeds. And she learns to drive, and she registers for Alvin Community College. And she begins studying. Now, this is still a mother of 3 that are in elementary school, a wife who makes breakfast in the morning, dinner at night, cleans, washes. This is old-time religion, the old way. She didn't have a job except that and going to school. She evolved as a woman. And on and on and on, she persevered through it. She had to study late at night when the kids went to sleep because there was no time when the kids were at home. She had to be the mom, help with the homework. She had to do all those things that mothers do. And then the dad, the wonderful father of character, had to have, because he was a carpenter, they didn't make much money, he would take on 2 or 3 jobs to have money to support his family and the children. The children and her going to college, because he was supporting her. He believed in education too, but he knew one of them was going to have to give up something so the other one could succeed. He knew she had a goal, and from the day he went and saw her and met her and asked her to let him help her, he meant it. That's a man of character. Your word is your honor. And many men don't feel that way. It's like, I'll just tell him, but then I'll do what I want to do. Your word is your honor and your character. That's who you are right here, guys. Right here. All of you. And even though sometimes you think, nobody cares. I'm so cute. I can tell this girl whatever she wants and I'll get what I want and life will be good. But you want to be a man of character and you want to be a man of honor. Right? That's where you men have the strength. And sometimes we forget. Sometimes men are dependent on their moms or their families so much, they forget, particularly in this day and time, you forget that when you stand on those 2 feet, you will be a man. Maybe not today in 9th grade, but maybe in 3 years, maybe in 5 years, maybe in 7 years. But that man, even today, that has honor and has character, will make you through the whole time. That's what's important about you guys. Women, you have tenacity. I don't know why God gave it to us, but geez, we'll just fight right on through it no matter what. Don't tell me I can't do something. The minute someone tells me I can't do it, I go, watch me. And I'll get it done. Put a block in front of me and we'll step over it. So women, you can do it. You can do it on your own or you can do it with someone, but I recommend on your own. Ladies, I have a suggestion to you. Do not ever get married until after you're finished with college. Why would that be? Why do you think that's a good idea? You'll have independence. You'll have independence. And that makes all the difference. You will have independence, which equals into choice. So when this man of character comes to you, You can say yes or no about making that decision about the person and the goals that person has versus help me. We don't need that help. We can stand on our own 2 feet. I have 2 girls. The job I gave them when they went to college was, do not even walk in this house. You can date, you can have all that great time and fun in college. Don't you dare walk into this house and say you're going to get married until after you have a degree in your hand. And thank you, God, they didn't. And each of them are independent and strong, and that's a good thing. And my son, also independent and strong, and has a family. So education is what kept them up. But in the process, there was lots and lots of trials and tribulations. So they had to have perseverance. They had to have tenacity. Well, let's go back to that little girl, that little 10-year-old girl. That little 10-year-old girl was my mom. I was that first child. My mom, when she went to Alvin Community College, after that she went to University of Houston and got a degree in 1968 in education in Spanish. And 2 years after that, she got a master's degree and taught school for about 28, 29, 32 years in the high school, and then taught school at the university, Texas A&M in Galveston, and is still tutoring. And she's 85. But she taught many, many people, many, many things, but every student that ever walked into her class said, I learned I can do it. I can do it. I have to set a goal, what's on your blue cards, and I can do it. But you have to be able to dream. You have to have your target. If you don't have your target, how are you going to get there? What do you want to do? Do you have a dream of what you think you'd like to be? What?
A pediatrician.
A pediatrician. And what obstacles do you think you'll see in getting there?
College.
College? What? Getting in? Staying in?
Like all the exams.
Okay. Right. Because it's true. I have kiddos that I've worked with, and they come back, God, Miss T, it is so much work. I have so much reading. I said, that is why they call it college. And if you do and apply yourself in high school, the transition into college won't be that difficult. It'll be more, but you will also be more mature. And you will be focused on your target. You will be focused on your goal. And as long as you're focused on that place, as long as you know what you want, you will get there. But you got to know. You can't just wake up in the morning and float down the river and see where the river takes you. You got to be on the right river. And you got to know when to get off of that boat so that you can do what you want. How many of you really want to become professionals? A lawyer, a teacher, a doctor, an artist? You know what you want? What do you want to do? A vet. That's a good one. Nursing. Excellent.
Marine biology.
Marine biology, yes, I love it.
Pediatrician.
You want to go to Florida. They have a great marine biology pediatrician.
Singer. An artist.
Excellent. Ooh, I like that. Not yet, not yet, not yet. You know where you want to go? What? Paramedic. Ooh, I like that. What do you want to do? Not there yet. Sir, what would you like to do? Computer programming. Oh, God, do I need you? You don't know yet. Biochemist. Pediatrician. Teacher. A medical technologist. Border Patrol. A president of the bank. This guy's not just going to work at the bank, he's going to be the president.
Border Patrol.
Border Patrol. Psychologist. Soccer, another soccer player. You guys could play on the same team. Another soccer player. I love it. Police officer. You have to change your color of your hair.
FBI.
FBI. Oh. Woo, dream big. Don't know. A Marine.
Marine Scout Sniper.
A what?
Marine Scout Sniper.
Okay, a Marine Scout Sniper. I didn't know they existed, but I'm so glad they do. Psychologist. Pediatrician.
A horse vet.
A horse vet. Ooh, specific. A canine unit. CIA. CIA? That's good. No, I'm asking if I heard that right. When you get this old, you don't hear well.
International business.
International business. Engineer. Physicist. Fireman.
In 7 years, right?
Whenever.
Engineer.
Engineering. Okay. We already here. I am so excited. At the beginning of this talk, 3 people knew what they wanted to do or verbalized it. I missed you guys. You guys over here are very quiet. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Okay, it's all right. Set your goals, guys. Set your goals. For those who are going into college, let me let you know, you are going to have challenges, huge, enormous challenges. And one of those challenges is going to be money. Statistics say Hispanics that go to college, we all get in and go and become freshmen in universities, but we don't stay there. And we don't stay there a lot because of finances, and we don't stay there a lot because we don't focus. Those are your 2 main challenges. Vets and anybody who's coming out with a degree from college, remember, it's going to be finances and it's going to be your brain. So you're going to have to focus. The finances, you can do it. There are grants, there are challenges, there's money, there's loans. My husband's a physician. He's a doctor. He's an ophthalmologist, an eye surgeon here in Laredo. He grew up on Laredo Street, no money, nothing. When we got married, he took out a loan so we could get married. And that was 45 years ago. Now we are helping kids go through college that we believe in because there wasn't anyone to help him. Or me, for that matter. When I was ready to go to college, my mom said, you're going to college, you're going to college, you're going to college. And I went to my counselor, and my counselor said, you know what, Christine? Those were in the days when Hispanics, well, I lived in East Texas, and in East Texas, Hispanics are not very well loved by any means. Like, it's the Anglos, the African Americans, and then the Hispanics. You know what, Christine? You should go to cosmetology school because you're not going to make it in college. And what did I tell you about me? You just tell me I can't do something. I have my degree. I started off in speech pathology and audiology. I got married before I graduated. which is against the rule of Tina Trevino now. And I had 3 kids, and then I got my degree. But I knew I had to get my degree because I came to Laredo. I didn't like it. I wasn't going to like it. I wasn't sure I wanted to ever stay here. I went to the university here, which was over where LCC is, Laredo State University, prior to TAMIU. And I got my degree because at that time I got to say, yes, I want to stay, or no, I don't. But it was my decision because I was independent. So that's what makes all of that different. I hope today you've learned 2 things, or a few key words: goals, target, perseverance, and tenacity. Gentlemen, what are your 2 words that you learned today that we focused on? Goals. But as men, character and honor. Women, what would be your key words? Tenacity, perseverance. One more. I know you know it. Independence. Independence. Thank you very, very much for listening to the story. I hope when you start kind of getting puny about your goals, you pull out that card. You keep that card for 7 years. I don't care where you put it. Put it in your jewelry box or in your wallet. And every now and then you see that little blue card and you bring it out and you look at it. And sometimes you might want to change your goals. And that's good. But that's something that makes a difference. Thank you very, very much for your time. Stay with your goals. Stay with your target. And everybody, God bless you. And go home and hug your moms.